Busiest this week guessing on those totals. New details today on the churches burned in Douglas. It has been less than 3 months since two historic churches in Douglas were purposely set on fire. On May 22nd, two fires were set at the St. Stephen's Episcopal Church and First Presbyterian Church there. Last month, a federal grand jury indicted Eric Ridenour on 2 counts of maliciously damaging a building after he set fire to the two historic churches. Inside one of those churches were 7 urns in a columbarium. Today, we learned those urns were recovered. News for Tucson's Cristiana Ramos is in Douglas with more.
The Episcopal Church was set on fire back in May, nearly burning it to the ground. You can see the rubble behind me here. You wouldn't think there would be anything left behind, so that's why the community is calling today's findings a miracle. It's been less than 3 months since St. Stephen's and the First Presbyterian Church were set on fire, leaving a mark on the entire Douglas community.
We've had a punch in the gut.
But today, a light of hope shined through the rubble that was once a place of worship and a resting site for loved ones.
And a piece of plywood was delaminating. So what I just started pulling it apart, and then everything was just intact behind it, the urns and everything.
Rick Bokel was assigned to the demolition team as the abatement manager. While looking through the rubble, he found 7 urns that were buried in a columbarium at the St. Stephen's Episcopal Church. The fire so hot it melted the metal on the exterior of the urns, but left the inside without a scratch.
It was just amazing that you could see how hot it obviously was in that furnace that the fire became, and yet these things were apparently untouched.
The recovery bringing tears to Bokel's eyes.
You want me to shed tears on camera? It was just overjoyed. That was my mission.
And hope for new beginnings.
In some ways, it's a little indescribable, just because you find a small miracle like this in the midst of a tragedy, and something that's a small miracle like this can be the new soil out of which something green and alive will grow.
After finding the columbarium, the contractor tells me the next step is to tear down the church and start rebuilding. Reporting from Douglas, Cristiana Ramos, News for Tucson.